Hello, everyone. Give you guys a chance to get up in here so we can talk about what happened today, which is crazy. But it is what it is. Hopefully, you guys get all these notifications that we can, so we can talk about what happened today, about the collab with Ramil today, which was pretty interesting. What's up, Nick? What's going on? I'm gonna give a few minutes for everybody to get in here before I. Oh. Hold up. Sorry, you guys. Just my phone's ringing. Just a second. 1 second here. I'll give you guys a few minutes. Yeah. So if you guys were on the collab today, the stream got cut because of a copyright strike. So it really I guess you can't do what I guess you can't put a video up there and talk about it, because I thought you could too. I was under the impression you can pull up a video and play it and talk about it. I guess according to YouTube, you cannot. Okay. And it might be in a way to where I guess you can't talk negative. Probably something to do with you can't talk negatively about it, but why even chance it? You know what I'm saying? It's dumb. But anyway, it got cut, and he got a copyright strike on it, so he's got to do some things to change that or whatever, right? But I guess YouTube is getting more strict on that, or maybe there are people out there that don't want other people telling the truth, or telling the truth. See, it's a double-edged sword. Okay, you got to remember when you're critiquing a video, you got to make sure you say at first that you're not bad. I'm not saying he did or did not. I'm just saying I probably won't even chance that anymore either. Why even bother with the chance of putting up a video and you're saying something, you're critiquing something, but if you're telling the truth, I guess it would be bad for their business if you're telling the truth, but at the same time, the truth is the truth. You see what I'm saying? So I get it. It's a double-edged sword, but I thought if you get up here and you tell the truth, that couldn't happen. Yeah, he did put the fair use act. Yeah, sure did. Sure did. That didn't mean a thing. Didn't mean a thing. So I guess now when I do these type of videos, I guess I have to put the link to the full video inside of the yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Lord. And at the same time, maybe the video owner was like, "Man, I can't have that somebody telling the truth on my stuff. I just can't have that," right? It could be a many things. So in the middle of, and we were just talking, because I don't really look at the live session when I'm on the collab with Ramil. I'm looking at the StreamYard session, so I don't really see all that stuff. But as soon as he told us it was cut, and then I went back and saw that it was gone, I was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think like now I'm not even gonna risk audio, risk video. I just don't even want to deal with that stuff, especially to me, I swear it's like a service for people that are trying to become financially free. And when you're in debt, you don't know. Yeah, and you're right. We were talking about that before I got on this live. 93 months, privileges taken away, blah blah blah. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, man. Out here sharing the truth, but you got to remember, YouTube is the largest platform on the internet, right? Of course, that means they reach the most people. So of course they're going to shut you down if you tell the truth about something that it seems like it's talking bad about the person selling, but it's not. It's telling the mathematical truth. So it's very What's up, NCB? What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? I don't know exactly what's going on, but copyright strikes. I keep up with a lot of channels that fight copyright strikes and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times people can. It doesn't even have to be the owner that can file for a copyright strike against you. So
It could be a
uh,
random person.
yeah, that's one of the big problems that people are having on YouTube.
It could be a
Uh,
viewer. Are you saying it could be a viewer?
Yeah, I mean, well, they can file a copyright strike saying that you took this on property. Then they have to come back. Then you submit, hey, look, this is fair use, blah 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 blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, they have to prove that that property is theirs in order for them. But right at the temporary purpose, they can take you down to inconvenience you. Is what people do
Mm.
sometimes. So I
Yeah.
don't I don't want you to think that you can't use videos because that's not true. Most things on YouTube, as long as you're not insulting the person, which is a violation of their new policy, you cannot
Mm.
insult or target specific people. So you can't keep going to the same person and like, okay, I'm going to take a shot at them. Okay, I'm going to take a shot at them. Has something to do with people, unaliving themselves anymore. So I'm not
Mm.
gonna say the words,
Mm.
but just so you don't get in trouble. But it has a lot to do with that,
Mm.
So that's why they don't allow those kind of talks anymore. Those kind of targets anymore. So as far as copyright strikes, yeah, he can do whatever he wants, and he'll probably win. Ramil will probably win that. Ramil will probably win that, but the problem is it's an inconvenience on users, and that's what a lot of people are complaining about
Mm.
on YouTube as creators, because random people can come up and say, "Hey, I own that property. It's mine," and
Mm.
then it's your job to prove that it's once you have filed the claim, they can keep you out of the loop for about a week or two.
Mm.
That video can still be, and it causes a flag against your channel, and then after you've proven that it's not, then you get the flag taken off and everything, but it's a big hassle, and it only takes three strikes and then they can take your channel down. So you
Mm.
have to be
Mm.
really
Mm.
careful. You have to be real careful about the battle. And Ramil, I mean, I'm not taking shots at Ramil, but I know what kind of content he actually does. So he's got a lot of targets on his back, though he doesn't.
Right.
And he knows this. I mean, he clearly knows this.
Right.
It's not a surprise to Ramil, but I know what kind of content he talks about. And so he has people that don't like him because of that, and they'll come on that channel and flag him for things just because he doesn't like it.
Well, Hyphy been telling me this. I mean, Hyphy been telling me this since day one. About soon as I started talking about doing reviews and article reviews, he's been giving me this information. Make sure you post this. Make sure. I mean, right off the bat, man. I guess if you're
you're
telling the truth, man, you got to be very careful if you're telling the truth.
you're fine. You're fine what you're doing because you're not taking shots at the person. Um, you could do one better. You can avoid showing where you got, like when you show the video and don't show where you got the video or whatever. You can do it that way so they don't know where to look up this channel. They can't flash back and look and see what you're talking about. This kind of keeps it a little safer even there, because you're not bashing anybody. You're just trying to wake people up to your review. And
But
if you were a big
but listening to you, all a person has to do is take it wrong and do that.
right, but I mean, you'll win that argument. But I mean,
It's just a hassle.
I gotta tell you, LJ, articles are not going to be as big right away. But I can tell you right now, man, if you're gonna do this, you're gonna have that problem regardless. Only way you're going to be able to fight that is if you become a corporation. Corporations don't have to worry about stuff like that with YouTube. They don't have to worry about flagging. Like, I mean, not to be funny, but Dave Ramsey probably doesn't deal with flagging, and if he does, he probably has a company, he has lawyers and stuff
A team of
on
people to
retainer.
handle it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
he doesn't have to deal with that at all. Whereas,
Mhm.
being a smaller YouTuber like yourself, you have to worry about those things. And the more
Mm.
popular you get, the more it's going to happen, man. I mean, you could mention a person's name, and or they can flag you for abuse in some form. You saw what the message I got from about just your content yesterday. You
What?
remember?
What are you talking about?
Remember that text I sent? Remember that text I sent you? I mean, I'm not going to say it because that person might be listening, but that
Okay.
text I sent you.
I got to remind myself 1 second. Oh, gotcha. Okay, I'm with you now. I'm
Yeah.
with you. Okay.
So, and I mean, guys, I mean, I'm not trying to alienate you guys out, but it's just people feel a certain way about their credit. I mean, just when you have the date matrix, I mean, realistically, there are Agent Smiths out here. There are people that really don't want you to wait, that don't like that you're talking bad about them because they feel like, oh, well, that's not the way to do it. They hate people for those reasons. That's
Yeah, that
reality.
was I ain't gonna lie. And let's talk about a little bit about the Ramil thing today, right? That energy, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, that was exhausting. That was that I hope you guys that were watching, I want you guys to see how powerful the debt matrix is. It is powerful. I mean,
You want to
I mean,
elaborate
you
because
could see it.
I didn't watch it. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, damn, yeah. You can. I was gonna say, go click and watch it. You can't watch it. They just would not trust math. They would absolutely refuse to trust mathematics. They would say stuff like out loud, nobody can afford to buy a car in cash. Nobody can afford to buy a house in cash. Every debt is just part of life. Debt is just life, period. It was just sad to hear. And for me, honestly, it was very exhausting. Okay, if I do another collab, it's gonna have to be done a different way, man, because I cannot argue with slaves. I just can't do it. It's just exhausting.
Well, I'm gonna maybe a different tactic. Instead of arguing with them, I would just let them. I mean, I let them believe what they want because remember what your goal is. Your goal is not to talk to them. So even though they're on there, they want to argue your points. The reality, and I mean some of the best type of media, and I mean this reality is that you're gonna have to you're fighting with others gets people's attention. So you proving your points may not get to them, and your argument is not to get to them. Your argument is to get to the people that are outside of that. So
Right.
I know you may get frustrated with it. Maybe take a break from the collabs for a while, but it's necessary because you're trying to reach other people. So bringing telling these people out here, just making these statements and stuff, how many people have come to your channel because of O'Shea
That
and
is true.
Ramil?
That is
You
very
can't
true.
you can't you got I know it's frustrating, but you
Yeah.
bringing more people to your channel because of these type of groups. You're not there to wake those people up, but
Right.
you are there to point out why these people look, man, this person needs to exist. Thank you.
I guess you
that's
know
what
what it
you
is. This is what it is. And this is what it is, Dan. I want you guys and the reason why I jumped on right after, so you guys could actually hear it in my voice. So when you guys run into this, that you don't do what I did because it will exhaust you.
I
I
know what
mean,
you're saying, and I'm
and,
dealing
and
with it
and
at
don't get me
work.
wrong, I know there were a lot of people in that room, so I know there was more people in the background listening than the actual people commenting and up on the panel. All right, and
Right.
you're right. The subscriber count does go up when after collabs. I ain't gonna lie, because I know I do wake up a handful of people. Okay,
Right.
I do,
And that's
but
all you want.
it's exhausting, man. I ain't gonna lie, it's
I,
exhausting.
I, I would and let that be a sign to that you may need to take a break for a while from the collabs, but you need to go back in them because you know what is necessary. You know where you know that if you if you hit those people, right? You hit these people, and they're going to argue because that's slaves are going to argue with you about finances. That's just what they do. They're like, no, but see, you don't understand. It's about the rich people, and they're going to get you with that. But the reality is, you know the truth, and if you hit those people, like, well, you handle your finances better, blah 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 blah, like you normally do, you might get somebody that's in the background that's not even listening to them. They all they're hearing is,
Right.
you know,
Right.
you don't worry so much. I know it gets exhausting, and I know you get tired of it. It's just kind of like your questions on Sunday. I mean, I know it gets exhausting sometimes, but
Hmm.
you take those breaks when you need them because you don't want to burn yourself out.
Right.
But
Right.
but at the same time, you know what you're doing. You're not talking to
Hmm.
that person.
Hmm.
The goal is to talk to the other person. So
Right.
I don't know exactly what what happened. I would have it would have been entertaining for me
It's
to know
just,
that.
it was the normal. It really was the normal thing. It's just it's my purpose. You're right. My purpose is to wake up people, but the thing about it's just exhaust, a lot of yelling and a lot of just, yeah.
Well, maybe talk to Ramil about maybe booting those people that just
No,
wanna
he lets people stay up there, and that's one thing I like about Ramil. He doesn't mute people like that.
right,
He let them speak, but I'm assuming if they keep over talking to him, he will.
right.
But he gives them their due time if they want to
Well,
speak.
I think you're doing really well. I understand why you're frustrated because I told you, man, like that's what I deal with at work. I mean, nobody listens to me. Everybody's got it figured out. They
Well, that's
think that.
different because you're a snitch. That's different from me. I'm no snitch. Okay.
Okay, okay, but I mean, you're right. You're right. In that
So don't put
regards,
me in the same category as you. Okay. Don't do
I'm
that.
just saying. I'm just saying, waking people up is a difficult process, and you're gonna have a lot of people you're gonna have more people to not fight you on that.
Right.
You're literally trying to unplug them from that imaginary steak that they're eating. You know what I'm saying? You can't take that steak
Right.
away.
Right.
That's
Yeah, you're
they
right.
don't want to go to that snot. They want to go to that steak. Like
You're right.
just in the movie.
Just like in the movie, that steak, man. Shout out to Nick
They,
Penn for the $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. LJ, your rhetoric is triggering to them. It was funny listening to slave explaining from different perspective. It was, if you were in there, NC, you would have
Mhm.
heard all the slave explaining. I mean, it was so much. They had a problem for every solution. I promise you. What's up, E? What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man?
All right.
Yeah, I had a chance to listen earlier during Ramil's show, and it was kind of sad, man. And just hearing people, I'll be the first to tell anybody, like, look, you do not want to like dabble in debt, like you just don't want to, because it's a losing strategy. It's a losing strategy. A lot of times you hear these guys and they talking about, oh, you can do this if you take a lot of these guys. If you look at their financial situation, if we were able to look at their financial situation, most of these guys probably don't even have a comma in their bank account right now. So if anybody's listening, I would just tell you, like, do not try. Most people try that and they lose. Like, credit, borrowing money is just not the way to go. Like, last year, I got out of debt. I can't think of anything in my life that's been more freeing than just the burden of
Exactly.
I'm like, right now I pay rent, and that's when I was, because I listened, like, oh, who has $200,000 to pay off a house cash? Not to my own horn or anything like that. In
Right.
about another year, maybe year and a half, I
Mhm.
will have that amount of money because I don't have any debt. Like, when you
Exactly.
don't realize,
Exactly right.
when you take a car payment, student loans, we're talking about thousands a month that you are not paying to somebody else. That
Yes.
money starts to stack up. So you will
Exactly.
have so much money in man, I'm and like listening to it, and I can understand, like, you get frustrated because people don't understand. But we also got to remember, like, with Harriet Tubman, when she tried to save some people, they ran back to the plantation. Even when Abraham Lincoln kind of, freed the slaves, if you want to say that, Some people decided not to leave the plantation. So
Right.
it's some people that just won't be able to be helped.
Well, they
Let me ask you
they
a
don't know
question.
they're on a plantation. They don't know they're on a plantation.
But yeah, that's some of them, and it's like they fighting for it. It's like they
Yeah.
fighting for the master and the servitude. When you
Yeah.
have somebody telling you like, "Hey, I've been free," it's scary. Let me tell you, it's scary, but it's
Yeah.
worth it. So I have a question. When you were going through your journey,
Hmm.
was it any point in the time you was like, this sucks. I just want to go back to the matrix. Everybody else is in the matrix. I don't
Hmm.
like this. I don't like my living situation. I want to go back to my fly, you know, house, condo, have my fly foreign car, and just make payments. Did you
Hmm.
ever come to that point when you were going through your journey?
That what that I wanted to give up, or what are you saying?
Yeah, like you just wanted to give up. Like it just, it was too much.
You know what? And this is the best way I can say it. Like, and this is the reason why I followed what Dave Ramsey says. Not only is the money part a physical thing, it's a mental thing, right?
Hmm.
Because I didn't know I was in debt. So as soon as I started paying my debts off according to the baby steps, I started noticing I didn't have debt. I had less due dates to keep track of.
Mm.
See, like when I'm in debt, I thought due dates were part of life because they were, right? But as soon
Yeah.
as I started getting out of debt, I started feeling more and more freedom. That's what got me hooked. That's why there was no going back. It's like there was never a time where I was so far in paying off my debt that I was going to say, "Oh, screw it, I'm fine. I'll go back into debt." That never happened because I already had started feeling the freedom of not
Yes.
having due dates because of debt to keep track of in my head.
Yes. Yes.
I
And
had
yeah,
more
yeah.
I had more failbacks of after quitting my job. I started panicking. I started going, "Oh my
Oh,
God,
I can.
what about all the years I
Okay.
put in? What about I might have a gap on my resume and blah blah blah, all that stupid stuff." But as far as going back into debt, never had that flashback.
Yeah. You mentioned something about like someone if they have a paid off house and they get laid off, like the panic is not there. Your
Not there.
big
It doesn't exist.
your biggest expense does not exist,
Does
and
not
I don't think
exist.
people don't,
They
man.
didn't even hear me say that. They didn't even hear me say
Man,
that.
I can't wait, man. When I buy a house cash, I may come on one of those panels just to shut those guys up, man, and show them
You
like, look,
this is the only
I'm
place you'll be
telling
able
you,
to tell your story. You can't tell nobody
this the
else.
only place you can talk. You can't talk like you're so serious. You can't talk like this around other people because, like you said, man, sometimes when you say certain things, man, I don't think you realize how profound some of the stuff when you say it is. Like you say, you talk to regular people in your regular life, they will come up with a problem for a solution. Like when you just said that, I was like, damn. I mean, he summed up what I was thinking. That's basically what they do. Man, they will come, well, if you pay off a house, you still have to pay taxes. Man, you need taxes for a civilized society. Any civilized society is going to have taxes, man. There's no way around it. If you pay off your house and you call a fire department, you want a fire department to come. You want the cops to come. You want roads in the front of your house. So it's always going to be taxes. So I'm going
E
to not pay off a house because of taxes?
A
Right.
AOE. I
Yes,
didn't
sir.
hear that. I didn't hear the thing, but I just have a question for you, man. Like, you said the taxes. Did they ever come up? Would you hear them ever say like, you know, they gotta pay for like health insurance and all that stuff too? Did they bring up all that too while they're at it? Because I've
Um,
noticed that a lot of these guys bring up a lot of different, they bring up like a lot of nonsense. Like I heard the pay off car thing. I paid off my car, so I don't know. I don't know why they said that. I mean, they must be talking about the glamorous Lamborghini, that they seen on TV. Is that what they talking about?
well, I mean, like one thing, like LJ says, it's slave explaining.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
they are going to find if you come up with a solution, they are still going to find a problem.
Yep.
You know, like, oh, why pay off a car is going to depreciate anyway. And I'll
Hmm.
tell anybody, look, a car is not an asset. If you look at an asset class, a car is not in there. But a car is like a utility. It's like a refrigerator. A car
Hmm.
is like a refrigerator. A car will take you to work, take you on
Yep.
vacations, take you to go visit your friends. You getting the usefulness out of a car. It's not an asset. So when you buy it. I can't really think of anything else that you get more use out of when you buy it. So the whole thing about, oh, you buy it and it depreciates, okay, fine. But I'm gonna get as much use out of it as I can while it's depreciating. You buy a refrigerator, it depreciates too. Most
I
of the
was
stuff you
telling them
buy in your
too.
life depreciates it.
I was telling them, I was like, if you pay your house off, you never have rent or mortgage again. And then they go, well, what about the taxes? I wanted to say, I didn't go this deep into it because I didn't want to explain it. But I said, well, if you worried about the taxes, why are millions of people financing houses that they will never own because of taxes? But
And
you think I'm gonna explain that to a slave? No, I wasn't getting into that.
let me do some simple math real quick. See, cause see, man, I can talk to y'all, man. If you finance a house, a $300,000 house at 3% interest, where people will fall over themselves, you're going to pay like 150 something $1,000 in interest in 30 years. And I know some people, oh, well, you could pay it off early. Most people can't even pay off a car early, and it's only 5 to 6 years. So we can take that out of the window. Most people not paying off their house early. So think about it. You are going to have to outpace inflation at 3% and at 3% interest, which is 6%. That's almost impossible. That's why most people, when they sell a house, they lose. They may think they made money on it because you're getting a check. Let me give you an example. I had a condo that I financed for $90,000. I sold it for, I can't remember. Basically, I walked away with like a little over $100,000. I lost $9,000 because it was $900 a month. If you look at $900 a month and you multiply that times 10 years, and I walked away, I netted 100,000. I lost money on that deal. Some people are like, oh, you made 100,000. No, I lost. And then think about that. If I financed $90,000, I went past that $90,000. You know. Think about that. I should have had that paid off in 10 years, but I didn't. In 10 years, I still had 20 to go. So the bank was just going to just keep bleeding me. So a lot of times when you hear people talk about these houses, like how they appreciate and make all this money, 30 years is a long time. It's some neighborhoods that was great 30 years ago that's not so great now.
But not even, but check this out. Not even that. Just imagine the bigger picture. People are sitting down and promising their income, this certain payment for the next 30 years of their life. They don't even know that answer, but you're promising it to the bank. They haven't even made that money. Yeah. They're saying, hey, bank, I promise you this certain amount, no matter what the economy does, no matter if I lose my job, no matter, I'm going to promise you this mortgage payment every month for the next 30 years. Nobody can promise that.
And that one fella, he was wrong talking about, well, rent is usually higher than the mortgage. Yeah, the mortgage on paper, like you're not looking at the hidden costs. On paper, yes, let's say rent in your area is $1,500 and the mortgage is $300. You are responsible for everything that happens with that house. If you rent, you pick up a phone, somebody else has to come take care of it. You are responsible for everything that happens in that house. And even when the guy said, oh, what a landlord, when you pay your deposit, it's illegal for that landlord to touch that deposit for something that you did not break. If the AC go out, that's not your fault.
This is another thing too, and you guys know I don't really get on the color thing, but I've been thinking about this a lot lately. If I could get my people just to listen to what I'm saying, just to listen to what I'm saying, the whole game would change.
Bro,
it would.
Listen, I never bring that up to you, LJ, but
I know we never talk about it, but
I never bring it up to you.
I know I'm black. Okay, I know I'm black. All right. It would change the game. I'd probably disappear.
Yeah.
If the black
especially
people,
like here black men fight against what you're saying. Like what you saying, if you become debt free, man, I'm getting frustrated just thinking about it, man.
I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. I think I understand it. Back in the day, you could buy a house. I mean, you could buy a house for $14,000. Back in my grandmother's time, maybe even my dad's time, maybe in some points in time, even LJ when he was young and stuff, there was people buying houses for very inexpensive prices. Those people grew up teaching their kids that, this is the way you buy a house. You buy a house, you don't have to pay cash. You can just get a loan and then that will pay it. But now houses have gone up to a point where it seems impossible to pay for. But realistically, our wages have gone up enough to handle those costs if we just manage our money properly.
But see what you're saying, NC Biggs, is like this is what I want to push to people. Time is irrelevant when it comes to the prices of homes. I know people
Yep.
always say, "Hey,
I
it
know,
was this price back then," but then you go, "How much were they making back then?"
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
Like I'm
right,
saying, I'm saying that they compare it to the back in the day. Oh, it's not houses weren't as cheap, but people were making $10 a week, back
yeah.
then. You're talking about now we're making more money than we probably were back then, and I'm talking about like level wise, we're probably making more money, level wise. We're like probably
So let
we
me
have a
ask you
better
something. Let
shot
me
at
ask you
making.
this, NC. Let me ask you this: How can I get through my people to see what we see? Because we could change the game if they just listen.
Well, there's a problem in our society where especially, I think you have a good shot with a lot of the millennial the some of the millennials. There's some of them. You can
Zennials.
forget the Zennials are definitely have a shot too, but it's because I think Gabriel's a Zennial. You have a good shot with them because they'll listen a little bit more, but there's a lot of people that are a lot of the people that you probably have on Ramil's channel, and that's probably what you're probably seeing. They're looking at the life of glamour. They look
Yes.
at glamour. They're
Yeah.
not really
Yeah.
interested in. They're not interested. They're interested. They're the kind of guys that go to the club and try to show out to the people that are around them and get the fake cars, look good.
Let me give a quick shout out to Ghost T for the $10 super chat. Thank you, sir, for the LJ Coffee Red Bull Fun. Stay encouraged. Appreciate you, bro. I really
Yeah,
do.
yeah. It's got a lot to do with it's got a lot to do with the what it looks like on the outside, not what it looks like on the inside. And it's not just and if you notice, I mean, I'm not going to be funny about this, LJ, but you notice that there's a lot more women that listen to you than men
Yes.
because
Yeah.
That is
men
Because
feel
I
like
think
they.
women. I think women get it.
I mean,
that is true.
women understand the financial aspect at least to the level of I want to be secure, I want to be stable. Men are trying to show and shine for women, so they don't feel like they can do. Think about how you were when you were young, LJ. That's kind of who the people you're talking to. You're
Right,
thinking about you got to think about it like, oh well, the only way to get a woman is to have a nice car. Only way to
right,
get a woman is to have a nice crib. Only way to
right.
get a woman is to have jewelry and clothes and to be the shinier things. And what we feel, and Ramil, he actually talks about that a lot. Like we need to stop trying to cater to the women and start catering to ourselves. But men are just genetically trained to try to be the most flashiest thing in the world so
Right.
that we can look better for women. And so I guess unless you can figure that part out, especially for black men, because black men are very shiny when it comes to that. They know that they want to be the
Well,
brightest thing in the room.
when I was hearing them talk, you could and you got to remember, slaves. This is the advantage that we have over slaves that they don't know we have over them. Slaves don't trust math, and they don't know they don't trust math. That's their financial pattern. They don't even know it, right? When you hear them get on a mic in public on YouTube, which is the biggest platform in the world, and say, people cannot afford to buy a car in cash. People have no savings. There's no way I could do this with cash. They don't even know the only way to buy anything in the world is with cash. There's no other way, right?
Yeah.
Anything
Right.
outside of cash is financing. When you hear, especially our people talk like that, it bothers me.
Yeah. It's scary.
Maybe you
It's
can
scary.
maybe you can get through to them. Maybe you can get through to some of them by saying stuff like,
No,
"Well, this is
I'm gonna have to disagree. He'll never get through to them because let's just be real. If you look at
right.
the
Okay, fair
average
enough.
amount of money
Fair enough.
that black men make, it's $40,000 a year. With credit, somebody that makes $40,000 a year can go get a Dodge Challenger and live in
Right,
a $250,000 house. So what
right,
he's saying, like I have to basically blow up my life and live off of my income, my life won't look like I want it to live. You'll never be able to get through somebody like that because they're not going to change it.
right,
Somebody that makes $40,000 a year can go get a new Dodge Challenger, a car along those lines, and go mortgage a $250,000 house, maybe even more.
But at
They
the
are not
same,
going to get that up.
but at the same note, on the defense of the economy, it must be that way. I get it.
Yes.
It would not work if people didn't believe that. So, and if there were not more slaves, we couldn't live free. If there were not
Yes.
more slaves,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
So I agree. So
important.
yeah, you are not going to get people to give up. And like, let's just be real. A lot of those guys, they talk all that business stuff, and I don't believe that, because
Right.
if you look at a lot of these guys, every time Ramil goes live, and nothing against Ramil, they always can be there. So if you got all these business, I know people there, but they just don't have that amount of time all the time. These guys got nothing but time to be on lives all day. So they're not making, it's easy to say you do this and do that when nobody can verify it.
Right.
So yeah,
Did you
well, I
see?
mean,
Hey,
whatever what you saying,
were you on that stream? Were you on that stream?
yeah, I caught a good bit of it, and
Did you know?
I
Okay, so one part I told Mr. Fantastic, I said, I bet if I took one look at your credit report, it would tell me why you're saying the things you're saying.
yes,
He was like, I want to see yours. I want to see yours. I sent him the link. I said, here, everybody can see mine. Go look at it. They shut up. Nobody. And you know what they did? They went to my credit score is higher than yours. I said, don't worry about my credit score. I said, go look at the debt amount.
Look, the other thing that a lot of guys get confused is they get confused on the material things. So they look at what a person has and assume they have money. That is and to be honest with you, that is something that's been going on with as far as black people for a very long time. We've always looked at what people have versus what we can build, and that is not what we're doing. We don't build. We just look at what people have, and then we say, oh, they got it there because they get there, they go in there these explaining reasons why they got there, not knowing what it took to get there.
Solution. They got a problem for every solution.
Not knowing what it took to get there.
I'm the perfect example of that. I'm the example of that. Let me tell you. Just being straight up. Debt cost me my marriage, man. I'm telling you, man. I had a nice big old house out in the suburbs of Atlanta. Also had another condo downtown Atlanta. Man, all that stuff was leveraged. Nice new cars, all that. Yeah, but I mean, it all came crashing down, and it was just too much. End up getting divorced. Got lucky. The houses and stuff had some equity and all that, but most of that money went to the lawyers, man. So I got a little bit of lucky. So I had a little bit of debt.
I'm with you, brother. Been there, done that.
Yeah, I had a little bit of debt. Was able to pay that down. But man, I had to start from scratch. If everybody looked at us, oh man, we had it made. We didn't have anything because we didn't own any of that stuff. We didn't have nothing. We didn't have nothing, man. So like when I hear guys talk like that, oh well, man, I've been there, did that.
Yeah.
What y'all talking about? It is going to fail. It's going to fail. You might have 1 out of 1,000 that it works for.
Right. I mean, honestly, you're being real generous about that 1 out of 1,000 too.
Yeah.
Being real generous, man.
Real generous. Exactly.
I mean, I'm gonna be me and you both have been I think all three of us can easily say that we all were in debt at some point, and I'm not there. I'm still a debt slave still, but I'm very close to being.
Did you hear him trip when I called myself a slave because I was renting? Did you hear that? They was like, LJ, you're a slave. I said, I know I'm renting. I told you I'm a slave. Until I own my place, I'm a slave. They really flipped out.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I tell everybody, man, debt ruined my life. I will tell don't do it, because the thing is, once you start, you can't stop. It's an addiction. Once you start, you cannot stop. It's not a situation where somebody say okay, we'll approve you for a $500,000 house. You don't have people saying, oh well, I'm gonna just go get something that's 150. You're gonna get something close to that $500,000, and in your mind, you're gonna figure out a way. Okay, I'll be able to do this and pay it. You may be able to juggle it for. It's gonna fall down, man. I tell everybody, man, do not go into debt.
And then they'll do the same thing with the car. They'll do the same thing with the washer, the dryer, the furniture.
That's me.
Everything that they ever own will be jewelry. Hey, look, I just told you. I mean, I don't know if you saw the channel. You saw LJ's thing yesterday, but I was talking about the jewelry club. it's a setup. Like they give you a credit card $5,000, so you hoping that you'll spend that. So you go into a serious debt with them, and their jewelry's not even worth it. But it's absolutely. This is calculated. They go after people's emotions, and these guys right here that you were probably arguing with, LJ. I like I said, I didn't hear it, but I can tell you right now, I hear it all the time. People will just make up excuses why they can't do it. Oh, I got kids. Oh, I can't do it because I pay child support. Oh, I can't do it because this ain't the right time. My money ain't right. I gotta wait. I gotta get my money right first before I can go and do anything else.
Right.
I'm like, what are you talking about, man? Like, this is gonna help your money. This is gonna. Well, I can't give up my car. I can't. What am I supposed to drive? Well, I'm driving something. I can't get nothing like that, man. I got to get me something that
I can't have people think I'm broke, so I can't get nothing like that.
I can't help you. One dude literally said, LJ, he is 40 something years old. He's almost 50. He's like 46, 47. He told me he bought that Jaguar. I told you about it. He told me I cannot live. I can't let people see me driving around in a Honda Accord or a Camry because I'm an older guy and people need to see me. I need to live in the moment. I might not get a chance to get a Jaguar again in life. And I
understand where he's coming from because I did.
Right.
Let me tell you, I got married in 2008. I was still paying on that wedding, that own location in the behind. I was still making payments on that wedding when I got divorced.
We were just talking about that.
Didn't I tell you that, LJ?
Yeah,
I was still making payments on the wedding, on rings, man, that's no way to live, man.
How long was you paying on that stuff, E? How long was you paying on that stuff?
I got married in 2008. I got divorced. The divorce was finalized in 2018.
Oh, and you were still paying on the wedding.
I was
in 10 years. 10 years.
I was still paying on wedding ring, engagement ring.
Wow.
10 years.
2
10 years
houses,
later.
Cars, furniture, appliances, a timeshare. I know I'm forgetting other stuff. It was just so. But we both had good income, but we were check to check. It was no reason we should have been checking. We were making a bunch. Let me tell you, we were making a bunch of money, but we were check to check because that is addictive, man. It's addictive. And you live this certain lifestyle and all that. And like you said, the guy that was driving the Jag, I understand. Let me tell you, man, when I was going through the divorce when it first started, one of the things I was worried about? What people was gonna think, what my life was gonna look like.
Exactly.
And it got easier once I stopped giving a damn.
Right. Because I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, black people have this and I mean I'm gonna say black people, there's probably other people in the group, but I'm gonna say black guys especially, we have this pride about ourselves. We do. We just do it. We've made it to society and to people we know and love. So we want to look like we're doing it. We're doing it big. We're out here making it happen. And instead of just making it happen naturally, we want to make it look we're going to artificially make it look like we're doing big. Right. So we're going to use the credit. We're going to fake it until we make it, and we never make it. That's the problem. We never make it though. We always faking it and never making it.
I'll tell any man right now, if you in a bunch of debt and you're not trying to get out, you failing your family. I'll tell anybody, I failed my wife and my children because I should have never let it go.
I'm with you. I'm
divorced today.
I feel that exact same way.
When I think had I known what I know today when I was raising my 3 boys, they would have been set. They would have been set
for
on
life
their status. Had I known what I know today, they would have grew up not knowing anything about financing. They would have just grew up naturally knowing to never finance anything. They would know right away that the best investment. I say, don't worry about investing. It's outside of yourself. Your main goal is to own a house. You will have eliminated the largest expense that you will ever have in your entire life while you're in your 30s. You will have eliminated that. By default will make you a millionaire. By default, having a regular job.
Yeah, and I mean that's the message that needs to go out. Like if you are a man and you have your family and you owe another man, hey, no, you're failing your family. Your goal in life should be to get out of it. Not have people send you bills for stuff that you finance. You paying more than what you What sense that make?
That's
What sense that
powerful,
make? You
Yellow
go
J.
to a
That's
car that's
powerful, man. That's
20,000.
powerful right there. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Only
man. Like,
aliens
no,
talk
you
like
are
this. See
failing
what
your
Yellow J
family.
said? The aliens talk like that. That's powerful stuff, man. That's powerful.
And you ruining your family, man. And you just don't know because it's going to fall down. I promise you. No matter how happy y'all seem and all that, man, all it takes is the smallest little thing to derail that.
Shout
Man, when
out to Yellow
everything's
J
paid
for even
for it,
saying that. Shout out to you,
yeah,
man.
man. Yeah, man, I'm telling you that's it. And then when I hear these wasn't young guys, these grown men that you talk to with kids and all that. Like, what are you gonna leave your kids if you don't own anything? How you gonna leave them a house you don't own?
That's a great statement. I've told people at work, I said, look, guys, we make decent money, right? We make decent money. We can build, each one of us can build something for our family. Some of us are down the line. We need to prepare for ourselves. You know, it's too late for our, the kids are just going to have to be taught in a different way. But the ones that can do it, I'm like, your kids are young. You need to teach them and you need to be building for yourself. Oh man, I could die tomorrow. I might not be able to live. I might not, my kids, I'm like, so you don't want to leave nothing for your kids? Like, you don't want to leave? No, they're like, well, my kids are going to be all right. But what about me? They literally, people are very selfish when it comes to this stuff. I'm telling you, I know what you're saying, but people, they'll justify it in their head that the best thing that they can do is do for whatever they're doing right now. So if they want their kid to be in the best kind of house, they thinking about right now. They're not thinking 5-10 years from now. Then they rather let their kids struggle their whole entire life than struggle right now. I'd rather my kid see me struggle right now and see me like have struggles. Like, hey, look, man, I don't got my own place right now. I'm getting my stuff together. I'm doing it. Then let him grow up as a grown man, and then he be out here struggling and never had any support. Most black families, I'm not trying to make this a race thing, but most black families kids grow up with either negative dollars because their parents use their credit or whatever, $500 or less kids.
Like I feel lucky. I feel grateful that I was able to be here in this position to teach you what I've taught you. And see,
right.
you will naturally pass this down to your children. Naturally. Right.
Yeah, my son told me today, LJ, I'm gonna give you this one.
Mm-hmm.
He said, because I told him I wanted to put him in a program, a computer programming class. They got one for kids. So they told him that if he does really well, he'll get the $18,000. I said, well, that's great, son. He said, well, Dad, I want to get it. I want to get it so that I can help you, so you can help me build my financial future. I said,
what?
That's what my son said to me.
How old is your son?
He's 8.
Holy moly. God damn.
He said, I want to do it because I want you to help me build my financial future. Because I always tell him I'm going to help
you. Just give him 18,000 cash for just saying it?
I told him, no, son, I'm going to if you win that money, I'm going to use that money to invest in you. I'm going to put that money in you. I'm going to either some way or somehow that money's going to benefit you. Not going to benefit me. And he was like, I was like, it's going to build your wealth, not mine.
Yeah. Wow.
The goal is to build your wealth, not mine. That's what the goal is for this. And it made me feel good for a minute for him to say that to me this morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I want people to understand and this is how you got to look at it. When you wake up, if you've come to this channel and you've heard the words I've said, or you've heard other SMD family members talk, and you've woken up, don't look back at your parents and be mad at them that they didn't teach you. You got to remember, they didn't know. They just didn't know. This is the debt matrix is powerful, and it's for a reason. It's on purpose, right? I understand. I respect the debt matrix. I understand why it's in place. If it didn't exist, we wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be able to live free. So I understand its purpose, right? But it's by choice. People are choosing not to trust mathematics. They're choosing it.
Hey, E, you still there?
Yes, sir.
You said you got kids. How old are your kids?
Oh, I got a 10-year-old and a 16-year-old.
Well, you got a little time left to teach them So, because the 8 to 16-year-old is about to go to college and get in all kinds of debt. You got time to teach them how to work it where they don't have to be there and they don't have to go that route. You know what I'm saying? Like they can go and do this smart. You know, a lot of people think that that's the first thing you got to do when you get out of school. When you get out of school, you go straight to college. You got time now to at least kind of try to break those cycles with your kids. You got an opportunity. You're lucky that you found out before they grown. Now you can kind of get to them if
that's
you have
one thing that I respect LJ, because if let's say somebody is me listening to LJ pre-marriage, and I had to come through this the hard way, man. I had to figure out like what I did wasn't working. Like it had to destroy me to realize, okay, this wasn't a good idea. I can't do
right.
this anymore. I don't want anybody else to have to go through that. When I hear guys like talking, oh, well, you can take it, and they not. See, here's the thing: they just saying things. They not actively doing what they say because they would be able to show it. Like they got this they romanticize credit. Like it's not, man. I'm most of the people I know, I'm telling you, they are in horrible financial situations. No matter how it looks on the outside, no matter what they portray on the outside, no matter how new that car is, no matter how new that house is. When I talk to these people, they're not doing that great. If they had a $5,000 emergency, they will be screwed. So,
let me explain something to Terrence. And Terrence says, I don't have kids, wife, trying to get myself out of debt, and it's been a struggle. Let me tell you something, man. You're doing it the correct way. And anybody listening, I want you guys to listen to this very closely because this is true. You get out of debt, which in turn is creating the business of yourselves by getting out of debt. Zero starts with you. Once you get out of debt, you will not date anybody or take serious any person that is in debt. So you don't have to worry about divorce. You won't have to worry about having children with the wrong people because the majority of people are in debt. You most definitely won't have a child by a slave, let alone even marry. You probably won't even have sex. I'm dead serious too. And when you hear slaves say, oh, there's never really no good time to have children. You just never know. Yes, it is. Once you get out of debt, you'll know exactly when to have a child. I promise you. So keep doing what you're doing, Terrence. That's exactly what I know. It's a struggle. Deal with it. But once you're free, you'll be free.
I totally agree with you, LJ. He doesn't need to focus. It's good that he's not focusing on the kids and the family stuff. It might be a struggle, but imagine like you got me, and I know you got a shout out right there. Imagine me and E over here. We got kids and they're babies, or at least young, and young enough to need dependence on their parents, and we got to deal with that, So imagine having that kind of burden. So at least you don't have that, You don't have to worry about taking care of them on top of having debt. That's where you're at. You're in a better shape than we are. Well, better shape than me because he's out.
Hey, shout out to West Splash for the $9.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
sir,
I watched the report this morning, and the guy was talking about all of the people that's in the forbearance program. All of the now they're starting to be able to file. Banks are starting to be able to file foreclosures and evictions. A lot of these people, the reason that's happening to them because they are in debt. If you own your house, I don't care if it's a house that's $40,000. Like you don't have to have the nicest. As long as you own it, they don't have to worry about anybody foreclosing or getting forbearances, things like that. So yeah, like we are about to see all of this stuff because the government can't keep these mortgage companies from not collecting forever. That's impossible. These people have to run a business. They have employees to pay themselves. So we are going to see and sit back with our arms folded and watch all these guys that talk about how great credit is or whatever. You can have the best credit score in the world. You can't pay bills with a credit score. I'm sorry. You cannot pay a bill with a credit score. I don't care how high it is.
You definitely are right about that. You can't.
I got Ramil like when we was on the stream. It's so funny because a slave can't hear. But I remember they were throwing these questions at Ramil these hypotheticals, these outlandish hypotheticals, right? Just and I could hear it. I could hear Ramil's voice talking about, oh my God, like here we go again. Okay, with these crazy hypotheticals that would never happen to try to explain simple math. It's just it was just tiring. I could hear it. It was exhausting.
I give y'all credit for that, man. Like you and Ramil, man, trying to help people out. You guys
cats.
You guys get a lot of respect for that. Like, I mean, I know I talk to a few people every now and then. You guys do this all the time. Ramil deals with a lot of people, and I give so much respect to both of you.
Both are trying. I just don't even do it anymore.
I've been on your feed. Yeah, I've been on your feed, Ramil. I've been on your feed before. It's absolute hard as can be to talk to people on there. It gets crazy on your feed.
I think Ramil got this question right here. E-Man said, I think Ramil got that question.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, I guess we did make somebody mad. So they say, strike the stream down. They didn't want us to talk about what's too much truth, man.
Too much truth.
Yeah, and it is. And you got too much. You got a lot of followers. You got a lot of support, and some people can't handle it, man. They can't handle that reality, Ramil, because you don't talk about it a lot. You don't talk about finance unless you're bringing somebody up there that's talking about it. But you always do when somebody comes up there, you bring it to their attention. Like, look, you need to get your life together. Right. You need to get it together, and you're very truthful about that. And it's refreshing. I mean, it's refreshing because you need people like you trying to help people out. And I know what your purpose is on YouTube, and people don't want to see that. Like, people don't want to. Misery loves company. I gotta tell you. You know, there's people out here that say, "Oh no, LJ doesn't know what he's talking about. Ramil don't know what he's talking about," and you know, y'all are helping people, and it's very important that you continue to do what you're doing, man. I know you're going to be fighting that strike. I know we all know it's bull crap. I hope that you don't have to deal with any more of strikes while you're still doing this, because I know it gets hard.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest, man. I'm just keeping 100, man. If I don't win this shit, I probably look. Yeah, I'm not stressing this shit, bro. Like, if I don't win the live stream shit, I just drop videos, go back to the video joint. Live stream is fun as hell. That's why I kept doing it this whole year. But if all good things come to an end at some point, I had a hell of a time streaming. So I don't know, whatever happens. Because if I don't get this strike uplifted, I cannot stream for 90 days. And at that point, it's just like, I think
you'll win it though. I was telling LJ earlier, I think you're gonna win it. I think it's just somebody just trying to, because
I thought it was fair use, but
yeah, it is fair use. And I don't think, but people can strike against anything. Like, people can report you for anything, and that's part of the problem with YouTube in that aspect. But I
have a question for Ramil. Because I watched a couple of your shows. And I noticed something. Like, when you do shows kind of talking about like dating and women and things like that, it's like you get more of a participation. Those shows can go on for 5 hours. But like, when you talk about stuff for men to basically improve themselves, why do you think you get such pushback from a lot of these guys? Even if they do half of it, it will drastically improve their lives. Like, I noticed that, like, your shows where you're talking about women and things like that, the level of participation and the agreement that you get is off the chain. When you're telling guys, oh, we need to handle business, we need to own more, you need to basically get completely away from that. It's like, man, you get guys, man, it's like they like can't even find like a middle ground. Why do you think that is?
Well, most people don't like to be corrected. That's just it. I mean, and plus the female stream, that's always just gonna do. People are more interested in females, and that's just how it is. But I don't know why. I mean, either way, I try to do both. I don't care what gets more views or what's not. One day I might feel this way, one day I might feel another. But I don't base my subject matter that day based on numbers per se. If something catches my eye, I'm gonna get to it. But that's just the world. That's just the world we live in.
I like to throw in a little bit of why that probably is. People don't like people like somebody to blame. Women are easier to blame when because Ramil's channel, let's be honest, is mainly focused around men. men like to blame people more so than look at themselves in the mirror. You know, Ramil, he can look at himself in the mirror and say, "Man, look, I need to fix this and that and blah blah blah." But how many of his followers can do that? You know, how many of the people around him can actually look in the mirror and say, "Look, it's not just the woman that's the problem. It's something in me. It's something that I need to fix in me." And it might be my finances. It might be my personality. It might be something I need to do, you know, mental health wise. But we don't have those conversations. We just want to blame somebody and point the finger. That's what I believe.
Well, let me give a quick shout out to Yellow J for the $99.99 super chat. That's that I just sold my house money. Appreciate you, bro. I really do. Congratulations. And shout out to Eagle Eyes for the $10 super chat. Thank you very much. I cannot stop. This is how I connect with everybody. I mean, this is how, tell them the truth, this is how I even connected with Ramil. You know, this is something that you can't fake it. You know, you just, it's here, you know. And if I could connect with a younger dude that could tell the same truth, because a lot of people look at me, they're like, oh, he's 50, he's old, he don't know what he's talking about. And when I say, well, math doesn't have an age, they still don't really get it. So when they hear from somebody younger than me saying the exact same thing, they might hear the message more clear, you know?
I don't know. Hopefully, I mean, like I said, to me, it's just simple math. That's how I run my businesses. That's how the world works. It's on numbers. That is fictional math. You know what I mean? That's cool if you want to do it. It's just not the best route to go for financial freedom. It's just not. You don't need it. All right, it's not necessary, and it's most likely a trap. Most likely.
How long have you had a paid off house, Ramil? How long has your house been? How long has you had?
Shit, not long. Like a couple months. This is recent. This is something
wow.
New.
Oh wow, man! Congratulations.
Yeah,
but you know, I appreciate it. But you know, to me, it's just the first step. You know, I'm still, you know, but I mean, and the reason why I talk about it because it's not. People act like it's such a hard thing to do,
right?
You know, to do it, and it's not like the foreclosure, the tax liens. First of all, you start with your family and friends. All right, you got older family members, older friends who got family members. That's how all these houses become abandoned. People, it'd be right under your nose. Your auntie died the other week.
Right.
You ain't even paying attention. And her house been sitting there. You just going on with your life. The family going on with their life, and the house starts to get abandoned. Now, that was your auntie's house. You know what I'm saying? It starts there first, and then you can look at the court records. It's so many other ways to just acquire housing without, you know, a bank mortgage. That's all I'm saying.
You know, because I try to tell people the sale price of a house doesn't matter to people that are debt free. That you don't like when you go look for a house, Ramil, you don't care what the sale price is, what it's selling to slaves for.
I don't. The market price is it's a different. We living in two different worlds.
Yeah,
you know, I got a price. It's a price for me, and it's a price for, like you said, slave. And people really get that slave thing. Really,
it bothers them.
Yeah,
it only bothers slaves.
I could say when I was a slave though.
Me too.
I don't, you know, I don't, or if I don't have no problem saying that. Like, if I took out some debt today, I'll be a slave, and I'm not going to do that because I don't, you know, all that. But I have no problem admitting or saying that. I just don't, because that's what it is. You owe somebody has you on the leash on the neck, and you owe them money permanently until you pay it back.
But did you see when we was trying to make that point when they kept saying, "Hey man, did you ever take out a loan?" You were saying, "Yeah, I made a mistake. Yeah, they charged me ridiculous." And I said, "Yeah, I did the same thing, but I haven't." They said, "Oh, see what? There's nothing to see. I'm just telling you that I did it."
Because I took out a loan 10 years ago.
Right.
That has nothing to do a 2000 a small ass person was trying to learn my lesson. You know, I was in the Navy. I learned my lesson with that. I was like, damn, they started taking big chunks out of my check.
Right.
Automatic payment. I was like, oh no. I better figure out how to make some cash.
Hey, Steven, mute your mic, man. There you go. Yeah, man. So it's just, you know, I'm glad you have me on, man. I'm glad we still push the message regardless. I guess we only can go so far with the truth when bringing in other people's stuff, exposing them. Yeah. I guess that's bad news.
Yeah. I guess you got to either play the audio or I don't know. I honestly don't know the formula, bro. What I did today, I've did that multiple times.
Me too. Me too.
You know, so I don't know what the move is going for. And actually, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's not YouTube is their own entity. Right. So I can't do nothing about it.
They own it. Period. That's their shit, you know. So
You know,
doesn't matter. Shout out to EJ Too Much for the $10 super chat. Thank you, sir. Now that's a good one, man. It's just honestly, it's just amazing to hear their problems for every solution. It was just crazy. It's like, I don't know. Do you get exhausted from that? I do.
no. I'm an Aries, so I like to argue, and then
Okay.
you know, and on top of that, I mean, like I said, people always realize it later on. You know what I mean? Like people come back to me months later, like, damn, man, you know, like I said, math is just never wrong. It's just
right. Just plant the seed and move on.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know,
okay.
Maybe when I get older, I'm gonna be like, fuck y'all, just, you know what I'm saying?
You probably be like me when you get to my age.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I need still talking about this debt stuff, huh?
Nah, man, I appreciate you, man. I do, man. I really do, man.
No problem, man. It's all good, man. It's just you know, that's how the game go, man. Like I said, YouTube, you know, it's not our company. That's why I tell everybody, like, look, YouTube can do whatever anytime, but you better be, you know, that's why you got other mediums, other outlets, and just gotta work around because you know, it just is what it is.
Shout out to NC Biggs for the $20 super chat. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's you know what it is? I'm thinking, NC, man, it's just to see what happens when the truth is spoken, just to see what happens. It's just crazy. You know, you could talk about all these other things that mean absolutely nothing, no strikes against you, nothing. But when you start speaking the truth, that's a problem.
Yeah. But it's really a problem when you start speaking the truth when it's math.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because it can't be beat. It can't be beat. There is no way around it. But they still try to do it though. They still try to find a way around math, and there is no way around math.
There's none. Yeah. So that's why I just, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny when I hear like ways where they try to go around the math, like
I know
they get creative as ever with that. Like, look, bro, there's no way you can put it. If you haven't done it,
I should record some of that stuff because they be coming up with some wild ways,
creative stuff to go around the actual look. If you're in debt, personal debt specifically, and you have this amount of money, you should track SavingsMinusDebt. That's literally
the name is.
You can't literally. Like, there's no way. That's how finance works. It's called the net worth.
Yep, man. And you know what? And what's crazy is that young cats your age, they don't even know how far ahead you are in the game with a paid off house. They don't even know. They don't even know your moves are different than the average person doing real estate. They don't even know.
Yeah, it's a different mindset, I could say, you know. Yeah, so it's a different mind state. So that's how a lot of people can't fully understand. I'm like, okay, cool. But yeah, I just, you know.
So let me ask you something. Let me ask you something real quick. When you do your like real estate stuff, right? And you get out there and you're dealing with people and you start hearing them slave-splaining, and they don't know you have the advantage over them. I mean, do you use this to your advantage out in the real estate game?
Man, fuck yeah, yes.
God, that must be the shit right there.
Yes, of course. You use all this stuff in business in general. Yes,
man,
it serves you very well. Assessing real estate values, home values. Look, man, it's a weapon. Knowledge is to be weaponized in the legal way. As long as it's legal.
As long as it's legal.
You know what I mean? And it's not my fault they didn't look at, you know, it's not my fault that they're looking at the world
different.
Not through the real values. Even if you tell them, they're not going to understand. So it's just like, it's not my fault you're not fully educated on the real estate valuations. That's not my fault. And it's not my responsibility to educate you at that. You know, I could, even if I do, you're not going to listen anyway.
Right. What's up, Toronto? What's going on, man? You still there? You there, Toronto? There you go.
Dun, da, da, da. Sorry, my bad.
What's going on, man?
What's up, LJ? Hey, Ramil, what's up? Big up to Ramil.
What up?
And big up to Steven. Yeah, I was watching the Ramil show earlier. It was great, but it just cut off. I don't know what happened.
No, I got a copyright strike on my joint.
Oh man, okay. Yeah, man. But one thing I noticed was, why are brothers afraid to start small? Like, They were saying that they need all this debt to go into business. Because I saw this dude, right, who started a small business. All he's doing is like training fat bitches in the park, right? He just printed up a couple t-shirts and he uses Facebook to get his clients. And he basically trains them in the park, doing all sorts of exercise and workouts and stuff like that. And it cost him like $200 to start his little gig, right? But people always think that you have to start large. I think when you start things small, you make smaller mistakes, right?
Yes, exactly. You got, as opposed to taking a big chunk of debt and make a huge mistake with no experience.
Yeah, and now like you buy all this inventory and you're not selling it, and you know you have the debt. I don't understand why people start small. Like over here in Canada, man, you have like, I'm not the Indian community. 8 people will live in one house. They'll attack the mortgage, pay it off, right? And they don't like debt. The Chinese too. The other day they got forced to actually put debit machines and Visa machines in their stores. They don't like it. They only like the cash, right? But for some reason, we always want to we want to finance, and we want a heavy leverage, and that's not good because you're gonna fail if you fail, right? You have the debt on top of it. At least if you have no debt, you can walk away and say, okay, I have this experience from a business standpoint. I know business and personal are different. From a personal standpoint, as I was saying on the panel, I mean, I'm Christmas shopping right now, and I'm not going to the mall. I'm going to people's houses, and I'm buying whatever they're putting out because they can't service their debts. And there's a huge market for that on Facebook Marketplace, on Kijiji,
Oh my God.
and whatnot. Yeah, like there's so much people who have just so much crap they've bought that they can't service no more, that they need to sell to because here's the thing, LJ and Ramel, they rather sell the stuff they bought on credit than destroy their credit score, right? And that pride allows me to come in and say, hey, that thing you bought for $1,500, I'll take it off of you for $100, right? So you could at least have some cash and maintain your quote unquote credit score. So that's what I've been doing all these years, and it's almost endless. There's always another person I could always take advantage of because they willingly finance their future.
Always. Oh, go ahead, Ramil.
That's fast, man. You brought up a good point, man. People and that should have been brought up on the panel. Why are people scared to start small? It's you just automatically think you need this big chunk of money to just start doing some stuff. You know, just like kind of what Fantastic was talking about. You need the money for the LLC and I mean, what kind of business you start. You don't need to go into debt to start a lot of businesses, like especially online businesses. You know, like people scared to start small and build up, but they just want to go straight to the gusto and they get the $10,000, $20,000 loan or whatever. Don't know what they're doing because you gotta start small. Your experience is more important than the money a lot of times. Like the money you lose the money. If a man with money meets a man with experience, the man with experience is gonna leave the money, and the man who had the money is gonna leave with the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can't just say, "I need a big thing of debt to just start." No, you don't. You can start small, make a small mistakes, like you said, and then scale up.
See,
especially if it's your first business or something like that. Like I'm not against business credit, but I'm saying like even with business credit, like you also brought up another good point. Like your personal habits are gonna carry over to business, so it's just like your first business should definitely be started with your own money. I mean, like or your own whatever you can save up. That's just because you don't know what you're doing. So it's better to lose your money than to lose somebody else's.
It's a fact, and that's what. And most banks aren't going to take a risk on, like if you're doing a business that's never been done before, right? The bank can't see the concept and the idea. You're not going to get the financing for it. So you better find like an angel investor, a family, or you just like it's not hard to raise your own capital, man. Just work a couple night shift jobs.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's not hard. Like it's not hard. It's not hard to raise five grand. Go run some Uber, do something. And you could get them. And the funny thing is, when you're using your own money, you go harder. I think
oh my God, yeah, because you had to earn that. You
better believe it.
Value
that is true
of that dollar. Somebody just give you a big chunk. I mean, you're not gonna understand it. Like unless you got experience, like super experience. But most of the time, look, man, if when you work for that money, you're gonna be more strategic with how you deal it out. You're gonna be more strategic with
Yeah, and
more
and and
focus.
and your clientele too. Like if you finance, let's say you're doing landscaping, and you finance a truck to do landscaping. You don't buy a used truck. Now you have to factor in that charge to your clients, and your competition may be debt free, and he could offer a cheaper rate.
Yeah.
So just by him having a cheaper overhead, he's gonna undercut you, right? And a lot of that. So some women have hair salons in their houses, barbershops in their houses. They don't have no building costs of running an actual
Yeah, that's what I'm
barbershop.
saying. Being creative and just
Hey,
Yeah,
what's
that's
going
all
on,
it is.
everybody?
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
yeah.
Hey, what's going on? Saving Minus Debt, Ramil, the whole panel. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, what's up?
Yo, I was in Ramil's stream the other day, and I put out basically an ad. I said I need a writer. So don't you know somebody reached out to me? His name is the Unspecialist, right? He's in Guyana, a whole nother country. This brother reached out to me, right? And now I got my first 2 blog posts written for Dominate Tech. So like I said, brothers, we got to be willing to partner up with one another. The part that you're not good at, partner with somebody that's their specialty. That way you can move as a unit in that way. So, and I just wanted to say, Ramil is right. Don't be scared to start small, because you never know where that's going to grow to. But I'll let somebody else talk.
It's fast. Some people don't want to start small because they just think that shit's supposed to happen overnight, man. Like start small is the best thing that I ever do, man. It takes time, but once it gets bigger, it's yours. It's all
Yeah,
yours, and you don't gotta pay
right.
nobody back. If you blow something up while you owe somebody money, they get a piece of that. You blow something
Yeah.
up when you use everything on your own, it's all yours. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
that pressure, like you're always thinking about, oh, I gotta owe this money or I need to do it this way. But when you own it and you're in control of it, you can kind of like have it happen naturally. And then your product or service seems more
Exactly.
appealing that way.
Natural. And that's what it's about, being more natural with your delivery, and you're more natural when you're being yourself without all the extra stress. Like it's natural. Your product, your service, whatever the case, when you're not under it's a difference between I think man, somebody was talking about it's the difference between it's 2 types of creativity. It's the difference between creativity like under pressure and creativity like on your own free will. I forgot the names of it. 2 different types of creativities.
Yeah, because I noticed starting a business without debt, you have a different kind of drive. I'm not driving to get people's money. I'm driving to earn their trust.
Oh my God, fact.
Once you earn their trust, they give you money because they trust you.
Exactly.
That's it. That's how you do it. You earn people's trust.
Exactly. The money comes as a side effect. That's what I'm saying. Like you have to get at the good point. You go into, and like I said, business debt. Like if you're an expert, you can probably finesse it. But from experience, I've taken business debt before. It's just you can be successful. It's just a different drive though when you're doing it on your own. Like Nick Penn said, more natural. You know what I mean? It's just you're not out here. Oh, I need the money hungry, money. No, you trusting and the money comes.
Listen, when I woke up, look, people probably know my story. I was in California like soon after I graduated from college, right? So I had a job. I was in corporate America, whatnot. I thought I was a king. Very few expenses and whatnot. Yeah, I had a car. I leased it and whatnot. I was paying rent, but then I got fired from my job, right? And then that's when I woke up. I'm like, this can be taken away from me. Car gone. Had to move back in with my folks. And think about it, like this is the first time I've had true freedom, and now everything's taken away. So I started to think, how can I put myself in a position where stuff can't be taken away from me? I have more control over my own life, and you can't do that if you're in debt.
Exactly. The unforeseen circumstance, man.
Exactly.
That's what they're trying to sell. That's what all these institutions sell you when they get you to finance stuff. They paint a picture like the future is going to be bright and clear. But there's a lot of things that happen outside of your control. We're going through it right now with the pandemic, right? Sometimes it could be a relationship. People get divorced all the time. So the bank's like, hey, I don't care about your divorce. I still want the rest of that 30-year mortgage. I still want the rest of that line of credit, right? and like they don't care if you just lost your job because you know your business, your company went out of business, or the CEO ran it into the ground, or the
Yeah, get that
CEO,
back. They want that back.
they want it back.
They
And
want that back.
yeah, so so a lot of people aren't looking at the like, you have to think in a long-term perspective, right? And factor in ups and downs. That's why smart businesses don't even, individuals too and businesses, they have an emergency fund for unseen circumstances. They're not saying that they want to go into a problem, but life happens. You know what I'm saying? Life happens. You may walk
And look,
out.
for me, it was sales. I got into solar sales, and that allowed me to make a bigger commission. Like even Ramil talks about it. Like he does wholesale real estate. I was looking into that as well. These type of independent contractor things that you can do, it's kind of unorthodox type of occupations.
Yeah,
You can
it is.
use these things to make a bigger chunk of money, and thus you're not so pressured to finance everything. And that's how, see, people don't see the avenue. They're like, it's no way that I'm going to be able to save up enough money in order to pay off a house. Like this, like I work 9 to 5, right? I make this amount of money and I like to live this lifestyle. See, pretty much regardless of what you're doing, we pretty much all want to live a decent lifestyle. Like nobody wants to live super, super frugal, right? It's about how you're going to make new money. See, that's the strategy. Instead of always save, how can you make a larger chunk of money to cover the lifestyle you want to live?
And that's what the rich dad. So it's easier to attempt to make more money than to try to restrict. You know what I'm saying? This is straight from Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's easier to try to figure out how your business can increase revenue rather than necessarily. It's always good to budget and cut, but it's just sometimes when you could take away from quality when you do too much budget and take away too much expenses. So that way, sometimes it's better to figure out how to make more money. Like you just said, like how can you make more? How can you make more money rather than cutting down? Because you might cut down on something that you need that helps you make the amount of money you're making now. So
exactly,
it's not all about cutting expenses all the time. Sometimes it's about, okay, I got to make more money, and sometimes it's going to take research, diligence. It's just got to get out there.
And look, that Ramil, that whole pressure. I think somebody brought this up earlier too. That whole pressure thing to look a certain way in society is huge. Like I can't drive this type of car, else people are going to think this of me. But then I started to think, well, how about my bank account? What's in my bank account? You see what I'm saying? That's how you kind of got to look at it, instead of like always trying to prove to others, that you live a certain lifestyle. Like, are you in debt? Do you have student loans? You see what I'm saying? These are all things to think about.
No, exactly. I'm worried about what's in my account. I want the numbers to go up in the account more than I don't wear. I like to have my bank account looking better than myself. You know what I mean? I keep myself up to date now. I'm just saying I said,
it's not about looking broke and dusty either. It's about okay, how can you live? What's a good seat where you can live comfortably within your means and still be comfortable?
You know what's so crazy? This was crazy. When you become debt free, you can see other debt free people without looking at their clothes, you can see it, right? They don't have to be wearing designer clothes. I promise you, when people see me, they can see like they can't tell if I'm rich or poor. What I mean, they can clearly see I'm not poor, but they can clearly see that I'm not broke. Let's just put it that way, right? It's not an obvious thing though, right? It's not because I'm wearing designer clothes. It's something that you can see the difference.
Yeah, and there's a lot of pressure to keep up that image. Right now, Black culture, like we're sold a lot of that materialistic. Like,
right.
You gotta buy this, buy that. My cousin bought a long time ago. He bought this big ass S-Class Benz, like financed it, right? And I told him, like, he was hustling, and I'm like, you know what? That hustling thing is not gonna last forever, right? Buy yourself a little cheap Honda. Within a matter of months, right? He had to stop hustling. They repossessed the car, and he ended up taking the bus. And I'm like, at the time, if you would have just lived a little bit below your means, you could be riding around right now. But unfortunately, our generation, well, a lot of the young people in this generation, they can't fathom living below a certain threshold. It's like everybody has to know they're successful. Like they have to put on.
It's that social pressure. It's the social pressure, man. Well, like if you're not used to thinking independently, oh, go ahead, LJ.
Well, I don't know if you guys caught it, but I don't know if you guys noticed on when they were talking about on Ramil's channel today. Every time you brought up the situation of paying a car in cash, it always had to be a bucket. Like, what kind of car
Oh
you gonna get if
yeah.
it's cash? It's like, why do you always think it's a piece of shit when you buy a car cash? That doesn't make any sense. But that's the mentality that they have.
Right.
If you pay for a car in cash, it's gonna be a bucket.
Yeah. If you look at a car, if you stand on the street corner and you see cars drive by you, you don't know how many miles is on that car. All you can look at is the exterior condition it's in, right? How clean it is and whatnot, and if it's operational. But so the aesthetic, this whole aesthetic thing of, I gotta look big and all that stuff, that's what's keeping a lot of people broke. And a lot of other communities, they know this. They know how the culture is. That's why I remember earlier, LJ, we were talking about it. People financing rims, right? Like that's unheard of, because you need the rims. If you got the truck, you got to get the big rims to go with the truck. Now that you got the big rims, you got to put the sound system in the vehicle. Now the insurance company won't even, if you get that finance car with all the accessories in it, if you get into an accident, the insurance company may not even reimburse you for it, because you didn't tell them all the upgrades you did. You understand?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
so that's all money down the hole that people are wasting. And other cultures know this, and they take advantage of us as Black people, because we care so much about, the pride of looking like a big shot, right? Because you're gonna, like, if you stay debt free long enough, you're gonna be a big shot eventually.
Yeah.
I'm glad you just do what you just said. Hey, Tonto, you speaking facts. Look, if you stay debt free and you keep going down the same path, you already semi-progressive. You have no choice but to be a big shot. That's you just, man. You hitting the nail on the head, man. Because you grow past so many people so easily because they are in debt, and they're bogged down by that debt. Even without trying, you just, because you're gonna stand out. You speaking facts. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even. And let me shout out with these quick. Let me do the super chat real quick. Shout out to Darth for the $5 super chat. You're about voiding debt, but I think calling debtors slaves stirs too many emotions and makes them resistant to the truth. You guys know me. I don't really care what slaves think or feel. It doesn't bother me. Just if the word slave bothers them, that's because they're a slave, right? So, and I use the word slave because it shocks them, right? And they say, I'm not a slave, but doesn't it say in the Bible that the borrower is slave to the lender? So they can't. I like to use that because slaves can't.
I wish I would have knew that. I would have brought that up. What verse is that? Hold on. What verse is? Hold on.
I think it's Proverbs.
It's in the book of Proverbs,
or something, right? Something Proverbs, right?
Man.
Right?
Yeah, I should. Yeah, I was.
So they can stop.
Why you waiting now? Damn.
I said
It's
the
Proverbs 22:7.
Yeah.
The
Man.
rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. Proverbs 22:7.
Exactly. See? So when I say that, then I say, well, if you have a mortgage, the bank is the lender and you're the slave. Is there something I'm missing there?
You're not missing nothing. You're not missing. Yeah, never change that, man. It is slavery, because at the end of the day, when you owe them, they could call and say, I remember I owed back in the day, I owed the government. I know I had student loans, right? And because the student loans are backed by the government, when I got a tax return, the government took my tax return. And if you owe the financing company, I mean the car company, and you don't pay them, they'll say, all right, slave, I'm taking your car.
Yeah.
Right. Now you got no ride. Right. And if you own a house, there's that I'm taking the roof from over your head. Right. Men don't live like that. Only men that are under tribute and men that are slaves live like that. They tell you what to do. They tell you when to eat. They tell you when to get up. They tell you how much money you need to pay this month. And if you're a penny or a dollar short, they're gonna reject the entire amount and say you have to pay this minimum payment. You can't be a penny short. Like, so don't ever change calling them a slave.
No, I'm never changing that. I'm never changing.
Yeah. But yeah, here's another thing too. Like, speaking on the car thing. So a lot of people don't realize, if you don't know how to fix cars, right? If you have a car in cash, people are like, well, my car might break down. I need that security to know that when I get to work, my car is going to work. But see, there's ways around that. See, you can find a mechanic, somebody that's reliable, close by to you, build that relationship up. So if you were ever in that situation, you have that resource. So
Nah,
it's
they
just
want to
about
pay. They
having
want to pay. They
training.
want to go to the dealership and pay. Do you know the difference between, even if you go to a local shop, right? The difference between going to the dealership and a local shop, it is so, the cost is so different. And going to the shop is the same quality, same quality.
Yeah, it's like the dealership charge like 3 times more.
Way times more.
Yeah, like it's because and the mechanics charge like a premium hourly rate.
Everything's premium.
Yeah, it's and they have to use, they don't use like a third party parts.
Hey, look, man. Sometimes I pay more, man, just to my local guy because I know that he's right there, right on the spot.
And it's probably more reliable too. They ain't probably,
just give him some more, give him some extra money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They work on your stuff even better. I mean, shout out to K Coaching for the $5 super chat. I drove Uber Eats to start my business. I don't owe any debt on my business. I have made profit for 3 years. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. For sure. Congratulations. That's how you do it.
Yeah, start small. That's what it is, man.
I'm just glad we have this resource. This type of conversation is quite triggering, right? It's bringing new light to these types of topics. So I just thought it was great, man. I wasn't even expecting that from that stream, but yeah, I'm glad I got to see that one, man. I hope this whole thing gets passed over, or we're able to all see it again.
Yeah, hopefully, man, get that video back. But either way, man, I appreciate y'all. And then, but yeah, man, hopefully we can get back up. But yeah, shout out to you, man. It was going too hard, man. Definitely, you're right. Definitely a triggering subject, which is why I like doing it every once in a while.
Right.
You know, so y'all better hope they don't. If I win this appeal, we're gonna have to do a part 2. We're gonna run it back.
Okay, man. Let me know too. For sure.
All right, Sean, I'm gonna hop back down. Thanks for having me up.
All right, Nick.
Salute everybody. Talk to y'all soon.
All right, man. Peace.
Yeah, it ain't no stopping this. Ain't no stopping this from Mill. And we just gotta, YouTube is their rules. You just gotta go by the rules, man. Until you come up with your own YouTube.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's
the truth. People always say, "Oh, they complain about censorship and all." Okay, I understand, but at the end of the day, these are private companies, and I'm gonna use it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah,
but at the end of the day, it's not.
And like you said, everything comes to an end, and I make sure I stay aware of that. Everything changes. Everything.
Exactly. So, you got it. Yes. This is the reality of life. Ain't nothing's a constant.
Yeah, I saw a nicer just come up, so I'm gonna bounce out too. But today the PlayStation 5 just dropped. A lot of people are gonna finance it. I'm gonna stay back and wait. When the pressure is applied, I'm gonna jump in and scoop up one for one of my kids or something like that, right? But that's the game right now. I can't, again, LJ, I know this is a labor of love for you. This is a passion. For me, it's a lifestyle as well. I can't go back and forth with people about their own money, because at the end of the day, it's not my bread, but I'm trying to save them a whole bunch of interest, because interest is what all these sporting arenas, watch all these sports teams are basically owned by banks, or the arena's owned by a bank, right? And the bank's been making profit off of everybody. But one question I want to ask you before you go. So after borrowing money from a traditional bank, right? Let's say people are denied from borrowing from a traditional bank. Then after you have your payday lenders, are there any other lenders in the United States, any private lenders that people could borrow from? Because what I notice is when you get further away from the bank, the payday and private lenders, the interest rates become ridiculous, right? So are there any local state loan sharks or anything that are out there preying on people?
Of course there are.
Oh shit.
They're everywhere.
Hey, what's up with it, y'all?
Hey, what's up, Ty City?
What's going on?
Man, LJ, man, I didn't know your channel was over here, man. I didn't even know you had a channel like that.
Oh yeah. Been here for a minute.
I think I just seen uploads. I ain't never seen you do a live stream.
That's all I do is live streams.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. I heard y'all talking about buying cars, man, and I don't think people understand when you, especially if you're buying a used car, and when you buy a used car, you're paying
what they paid at the auction as a down payment.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, you mean when they sell it on a car lot? Yeah, that's true. I believe that.
Yeah. So it's
I
like
believe that.
when you buy, you have to buy a used car with cash, man. There's no way around it. That's just where it's at. You know.
Just buy cars in
Uh,
cash, period. Never finance anything.
yeah, absolutely. And y'all hit the nail on the head with like repairs and whatnot. You don't have to take it to the dealership and shit. Like,
Well, when you don't have car payments, when you have car payments, car repairs ain't nothing. It breaks, you just put it in the shop and say, fix it.
right? Because
Period.
the payment don't stop. Whether the car in the shop or not, that payment is still going.
Exactly.
You know?
I just don't understand, man. Look, to me, it's just simple math. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Y'all, I was listening. I was like, damn, you know, and motherfuckers think they got a point, but really, once you flip the psychology of it, they are begging and making excuses to jump in debt. You know, and it's like, damn, and they just jump out the window like, well, what about this and what about that? It's like it doesn't change.
Right.
It doesn't change. Like it's stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like somebody said math is irrelevant. And I was like, did they just say that?
Oh my God. When I heard that, I almost left the show when he said that.
You know, it was math is irrelevant. I said, hey, wow. I was like, how do you even respond to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you win, bro.
I should have said, when you have a stack of money in front of you, how do you count it if math is irrelevant? Tell me how you do that. Show me. You know?
Yeah, and you right, man. Like debt is still there. You don't start adding because you got some money somewhere else.
Shout out to West Flash for the $9.99 super chat. Golly, you're messing up the game for me. I'm a car dealer. Hey, check this out. Don't worry. What we're saying will never change the car dealership game. I promise you. Never, ever.
No, I was flipping cars. I had a small little dealership.
No, I'm talking about the super chat. I'm just talking about the super chat.
No, I know. What he's saying is this is what it is. Like, that's how you bid on cars. Like, I know I'm going to get the down payment back. So you're straight into profit from the first payment that you get. If you do a buy here, pay here type situation.
Man, that's crazy, man. I mean, yeah. That's
No, there's no way around it, bro. And that mortgage owner, loan owner, like the language around this shit is hilarious, bro.
Loan owner. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but like, how you gonna tell me if I got a house and I've been in this house, that don't make it yours because you're in it. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. And yeah, I did it. I had two properties. I just broke even on one actually, and I broke even on it because I took a loan out of it. And when I sold it, I broke even. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still in another one, but I rent my primary residence.
Okay. So you said with the loan you just broke even?
Yeah, I broke even. I had to sell one of my rental properties. I sold it, but I had took money out on it. So whenever I sold, I broke even. Cause I'm trying to get right too, man. Cause I already know what's gonna happen. Like whoever got the free capital in about a year, they're gonna win.
I'm trying to tell you, if you liquid or got some capital, man, I'm telling you, man, it's about to be a candy store.
Man, y'all have to follow this YouTube channel called The Housing Bubble 2.0. And they keep track of all the data, all the statistics, all the news. They go through it and they break it down how the bubble is about to pop. And I've been following that channel for about like a year and a half. I'm like, damn, all these people saying they got rental property and shit. You know, I mean, that mortgage ain't gonna stop.
All the Airbnb, we had articles about that, about Airbnb. People who own Airbnbs this year have literally, was asked out because Airbnbs went down, the travel went down. We know landlords got fucked over this year. you know.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because the Airbnb is based on pretty much like the vacation
Yeah,
market.
traveling and all that stuff. Yeah.
But ain't no way around it, bro. Real shit, man. And here's another thing. Like what you be saying, Ramil, with the delayed gratification shit. Like I have to teach my son, like, you have to stack for 4 years, right? And then go buy you a house cash, right? Because in the grand scheme of things, what is 4 years of saving?
Exactly.
You know?
It's
So,
not,
so you're 24 years old with a house that's paid off. Like you still in your 20s.
yeah, man, I don't know why people act like a lot of this, especially if they're taught from a young age. I don't know why people act like this stuff's impossible, that people can't work, you know, and save money, save capital. I just don't understand, like, where's
on the bigger scheme of things, man. It's got to be that way, Ramil. We know it.
Yeah, it's true.
It is. It is what it is. We can keep telling the truth. If they want to trust math, it's up to them. Period.
You know what? I look at some of the people in my neighborhood, right? My neighbor just bought a 90. No, it's a 2004 Porsche Turbo, and he got a stupid deal on it. And that thing ain't gonna do nothing but go up in value. It's not a new car, but he's not gonna be looking back on like, damn, that was a financial mistake. You know what I'm saying?
No, facts.
It's an actual appreciating asset that he bought.
All right, you guys. I'm about to wrap this up, man. I am tired. I'm wore out from Ramil's.
Oh yes, yeah, facts, man.
Hey, Ramil, what happened to your stream, man? It was just gone, man.
Oh yeah, because they motherfucking they put a copyright strike, man. They put a strike on that joint, man. So I gotta fight it. I can't even live stream no more. So you know what I mean.
Man.
I can't live stream no more. Unless I either win the appeal or I gotta wait 90 days. So if that's the case, I just have to go back to upload videos. You know what I mean, and take it back. And y'all need to go stream away. I hop on y'all stream. You know what I mean?
Anytime, Ramil. Anytime, man. Come on, anytime.
May I add something real quick?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Nicer. My bad. Go ahead.
Okay. Shout out to you, LJ, and also Ramil, Amir. I'm a big fan of your channel, and I do fully support, you know, men on YouTube that have created a space for other men to come together and just have guy talk, you know, talk shop and whatnot. And I would just like to add that, you know, for the people who, well, I'll just say, I don't really like speaking too much on high vibrations and things like that, because people get emotions and vibrations mixed up, and it just turns into a messy conversation. But that's something that I can do here on this channel, which is another reason why I respect LJ so much. But I would just like to say, you know, for the people who see like LJ and Ramil talking but can't quite put their finger on why their words seem a bit more powerful than the rest, is because they have transcended and are vibrating on a higher level, at least as far as personal finance aspect is. Because when you're on a higher vibration, when you're on that level frequency, anxiety and stress doesn't affect your decision making. It actually enables you, or you have the ability to examine everything and choose the best option available. And that's not just personal finance. That's dating. That's every other aspect of your life. Because the SMD channel here, LJ actually teaches you how to get your personal finances in order. And if you can get your personal finances in order and get out of debt, you can get every other aspect of your life that needs correcting. You can get that in order also, and then you'll be the one that that's what we call aliens, because your mind, the way you think, everything about you is now on that higher level that you see LJ and Ramil and several other SMD family members here. I can't shout you all out. I don't want to, because I know LJ said he's tired and he wants to wrap this up. So that's just what I wanted to share. I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh yeah, you ain't blocked either, man. You know, you're not blocked. I don't know why you probably got timed out. You're not blocked though. I checked, you're not blocked.
Hey, I'm gonna catch y'all later, man. LJ, I'm gonna be over here more often, man.
Okay,
But,
I appreciate you, man.
It ain't nowhere around the mouth, dog.
Nowhere around it. You're right.
Ain't nowhere around it, bro. I'll
Nope.
catch y'all later, man. Peace.
All right, peace out. All right, holla at y'all. Thanks for having me.
All right, you're welcome anytime, Ramil. Thanks, Nicer, for jumping on too. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, bro, and I'll see you guys on the next live.
Okay, I appreciate it. All right, yeah, I thank you everybody for jumping on here. This is this journey has been an amazing, humbling, life-changing experience for me, and by you guys coming over here and acknowledging, like, I'm helping change your lives, I'm changing your lives for the better. That is what fuels me. That is what keeps me going, because believe it or not, I do have down days, just be like frustrated days. And I know certain SMD family members can hear it when it happens, and they reach out to me in the background, because they know that it's a temporary, because it gets frustrating. But on the same side, on the other side of things, is that I understand that in order to become rich, there must be people that are poor. There must be slaves that are not rich. I get it. I understand it. I think what it is when it comes across people that you love, people that are important to you, that you're awake and you just want to show them that you want to show them how to do the same, and you can't. It gets very frustrating. You get sad, because they're going to die a slave, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do about it. And that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's very humbling. And I know you guys see me talk, and the way I talk, I'm still humbled from appreciating you guys even following me, even subscribing to me, even signing up for my service, because I know you guys don't have to. Nobody has to. It's a choice. So I appreciate you guys all. Again, shout out to Ramil for having me on his channel. Thanks for jumping on over here, Ramil. And all the SMD family members, I appreciate you all. Until next time, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Thursday afternoon, evening, and the rest of the weekend. All right. Have a good one.